Today, my group, which consists of myself, Raquel Barrera, Malerie Crow, and Madison Whatley, are going to be talking about our presentation, which was done on the analysis of Target. So in the overview of our presentation, I will be speaking on the industry background. Malerie is going to be covering the 5 forces analysis, and Madison is going to be covering current and projected performance. So the background. First, I'm going to be starting off by talking about a little bit of the history of Target. During the year 1902, George D. Dayton became the president of Dayton's Dry Goods Company. In 1960, it became a discount store chain. In 1968, they began to incorporate the bullseye logo. In 1975, they began to create weekly newspaper ads. And during the year 1983, the Dayton family left the board of directors. In 1994, the now famous slogan, "Expect more, pay less," came about. In 1995, the first Super Target opened up in Omaha, Nebraska. In 1999, Target.com became available. In 2000, Target Corporation came about, and now there are weekly ads on Target.com. In 2004, there became an increase in the groceries available in Target. In 2005, there was over $50 billion in sales. In 2009, fresh food in Target became available nationwide. In 2012, Target launched their Target mobile app. So I'm going to be talking about the industry of Target. Target is in the retail industry, and their top 2 competitors are Walmart and Amazon. So I'm going to be talking about their industry analysis. I'm going to cover the gross profit margin, inventory turnover, and the return on assets for Target, Walmart, and Amazon. Target's gross profit margin was 29.27%. Walmart's gross profit margin was 25.10%. Amazon's gross profit margin was 40.25%. Target's inventory turnover was 5.61. Walmart's inventory turnover was 8.70. Amazon's inventory turnover was negative 105.90. Target's return on assets was 7.11%. Walmart's return on assets was 3.27%, and Amazon's return on assets was 6.19%. So now I'm going to be discussing different parts of their scope of operations. First, I'm going to be speaking on the types of products. So Target has clothing, furniture, cosmetics, groceries, and order pickup and delivery services. The size of Target. Target is available in all 50 states and has around 1,900 stores nationwide. The management structure. Brian Cornell is the board chairman and CEO of Target, and Target has over 50 executive vice presidents. So the targeted customers. Target has the targeted customers of all the U.S. population. They try to reach as much of the U.S. population as they can. 75% of the U.S. population is actually within 10 miles of a Target. The current profitability. In the year 2018, Target had $75.4 billion in revenue. Thank you. Now Mallory is going to be covering 5 forces analysis.
Thank you, Raquel. Now we'll analyze the retail trade industry based on the 5 forces posed by Michael Porter that identify the key factors that can become a threat to profits within an industry. As you can see from this table, there are 5 forces within an industry that can be a potential threat to a firm's profits: internal rivalry, entry, substitute and complementary products, supplier power, and buyer power. Each of these forces possess a different level of threat, which we will discuss in greater depth over the next few slides. Internal rivalry possesses a low to medium threat to profits within the retail trade industry. This industry is characterized by low market share concentration. While there are an estimated 2.7 million operators in the industry in 2019, the 4 largest companies generate almost 15% of the entire industry's revenue. The industry has around average internal competition. This is partly due to the fact that the products often have very little differentiation between firms. Take, for example, purchasing a new toothbrush. There are a few different options when choosing a new toothbrush, but overall, the variety amongst products is low, and consumers will likely receive the same benefit regardless of whether they purchase it from Walmart, Target, Amazon, or some other retailer. This limited differentiation causes firms to compete on price, product range and quality, brand strength, and location, rather than on the products themselves. With this in mind, firms in the retail industry are known for a tit-for-tat pricing strategy, with many firms offering price matching and low price guarantees. If you look at the consumer surplus model, consumers are going to purchase the product that provides them the greatest benefit at the lowest price. Since the products within this industry are so narrowly differentiated, the benefit consumers receive will not vary much from one retailer to the next, so purchase price becomes even more of a competitive factor. While these firms try to implement cooperative pricing, the industry is known for having high buyer concentration as well as price-sensitive buyers, both of which are factors that can harm cooperative pricing. Overall, these factors meld together to create an overall low threat to profits from internal rivalry. The retail trade industry has somewhat high barriers to entry, causing the overall threat of entry to incumbents' profits to be relatively low. Arguably, the largest barrier to entry within this industry are the significant economies of scale possessed by the large firms in the industry, such as Walmart. These economies of scale may make it difficult for entrants to successfully join an industry characterized by competition from low prices, as entrants may struggle to turn a profit. Additionally, since location of firms in this industry is such a key factor to their success, location competition is fierce, making it difficult for entrants to find a prime spot. While incumbents may not necessarily withhold access to resources such as distribution channels, raw materials, and technology, many stakeholders within the industry are wary of newcomers and are more likely to give favorable attention to incumbents, leaving the newcomers behind. Additionally, entrants typically have negative expectations for post-entry competition, as incumbents are largely known for both predatory pricing and low prices. On the other hand, however, there is not a government protection of incumbents within the retail trade industry, which increases the potential threat of entry on incumbents' profits. Arguably, one of the largest potential threats to profits is the availability of substitute and complementary products within the market. Within the retail trade industry, product ranges are large, and many have limited product differentiation, allowing for a plentiful threshold of substitutes within the market. Since firms within the industry compete largely through pricing, the price value of these substitutes is typically substantial, as well as most substitutes are within the same price range. The same is true for complements. The differentiation amongst products is small, allowing for a broad range of products for consumers to choose from, which, in turn, creates a larger product pool for complements as well. Take our toothbrush example from earlier. While each toothbrush has a large variety of substitutes available to consumers, retailers typically have just as many types of toothpaste for consumers to choose from. However, the retail trade industry demand has low price elasticity, with changes in household income and unemployment rates having a substantial impact on the sales recorded by firms within the retail trade industry. This is something that we are seeing right now in the midst of COVID-19. In March of this year, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the U.S. unemployment rate rose to 7.1 million Americans, and the U.S. Department of Commerce reported a 6.2% decrease in retail trade sales. This is a real-time example that shows us just how the retail trade industry is characterized by fairly low price elasticity of demand, causing a potentially large threat to profits. Supplier power possesses one of the lowest threats to profits within the retail trade industry, likely due to antitrust acts that prohibit price discrimination amongst suppliers. The Clayton Antitrust Act in particular prohibits specific types of price discrimination by suppliers, protecting small firms within the retail trade industry and essentially eliminating any cost advantages larger firms may possess from price agreements with suppliers. However, many large firms are becoming vertically integrated and taking over some of their own manufacturing in order to create their own competitive advantages. For example, in 2018, Costco chose to backwards integrate to become their own suppliers of rotisserie chicken, with a single plant possessing the ability to produce over 2 million chickens each week. There is also a medium threat to profits within the retail trade industry from the potential of suppliers to forward integrate into the product market. One example of this happening within the retail trade industry is Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods, which caused a $22 billion decrease in shares of other traditional food retailers. In the retail trade industry, firms face a low to medium threat to profits from buyer power. For the most part, individual buyers do not negotiate purchase prices from these firms and typically act as price takers, meaning that they accept the price set by the firm and either choose to pay that amount or not make the purchase. This allows the firms to take away some buyer power, decreasing some of the potential threat to profits that could generate from it. The threat to profits that comes from buyer power largely originates from the fact that the products themselves make up a large percentage of a firm's costs. Many firms may work to decrease these purchasing costs, but if a firm's product costs are high, they may be at a disadvantage in profiting from their customers, especially in firms that offer price matching or low price guarantees. Now I'm going to pass it off to Madison to discuss the current and projected performance of Target.
Thank you, Mallory, and good evening, everyone. My name is Madison Whatley, and for the remainder of the presentation, I will be covering Target's current and projected performance. On this slide, we have Target's current performance for the years 2016 through 2018. But before we look at these numbers, I want to shed some light on the trends that we're about to see. Following the recession of the early 2000s, Target was losing a lot of its sales and customer base. Customers were choosing to go to its competitor Walmart for their cheaper prices and price match guarantee. Not only were they losing their customer base, but Target suffered a security breach and customers' credit card information was exposed. Consumer confidence in the Target company was at an all-time low going into the 2010s. So they decided that they were going to infiltrate the Canadian markets and open over 100 stores in 2 years. They thought that this would increase sales in their bottom line, but this was not the case, unfortunately. Consumers were frustrated with their supply chain. They were not able to find the inventories that they were being advertised, and the prices were very high because these stores were being sent deliveries from hubs in the United States. So in 2014, Target decided to restructure all over again and brought in a new CEO, Brian Cornell, that Raquel mentioned. He was excited to invest $7 billion into the company. And as we can see here, he's been doing a pretty good job. Since 2016, net income has increased on average by 3.69%, as well as revenue, which has increased by 3.5% year over year since 2016. So what did Brian Cornell do? His strategy emphasized expanding their store-owned brands, offering delivery options, and growing their website. Going forward, in 2019, Target projected just over $3 billion in net income and $75 billion in revenues. Supposing there's a linear trend with no industry disruptions, Target is expecting to see $3.3 billion in net income and almost $84 billion in revenue by 2021. Based on this information that Raquel and Malerie have provided, I have a few recommendations for the Target company. I think Brian Cornell is doing a great job with his strategy, but I think there are some things that could be highlighted. I think Target would do a great job expanding into the niche health foods, since the main competitor, Whole Foods, is found predominantly in major metropolitan areas. Also, I think to stay competitive with other grocers such as H-E-B and Walmart, they need to refine their grocery pickup and delivery, which Brian has already started doing by partnering with third-party Shipt to deliver to consumers. What I think a big opportunity for Target is with their mobile app. They've recently released their Target Circle app for deals and discounts for shoppers. But what I think they could really utilize here is involving kids in this application. So while mom and dad are shopping through Target, using their Target Circle app to get all the good deals, the kids have their own application and can use their smartphones or tablets and play a game that's specific to each store, make it an integrative experience for the children. So they look forward to going to the store, and mom and dad aren't dreading it, having them screaming while they're shopping. I think they're doing a great job expanding their own brands. They've been partnering with fashion designers like Mossimo and home designers like Chip and Joanna Gaines from Magnolia Market. They opened the Heart and Hand line for their home goods recently. Also, they need to keep partnering with their influencers to stay trendy with the new changes in design for the home. And lastly, if they're going to be able to compensate for all these stores that they're building and increasing their sales, they're going to need to refine the supply chain and distribution hubs so that they can handle all of this inventory. Target is on the fast track to grow for this decade. I think they're going to be very innovative in this restructuring of the retail experience that we have. They're on target to open and remodel over 1,100 stores by 2021. I think Target is going to be an industry leader because their products are of higher quality than the competitor Walmart, and their experience trumps the experience that consumers get with Amazon that is solely online. Here we have our references listed. And any questions can be emailed. I want to thank you for your time.